Just take a listen to the lyrics of this song, the opening lyrics, not the crazy stuff that happens later in the song, the opening lyrics, because they are very relevant to today's video. Welcome to EFTM.
She's electric. She's in a family full of eccentrics.
True.
She's done things I've never expected.
Very much so.
And I need more time.
Yeah, that's She's Electric, and that refers directly to the Mini Cooper S all-electric that I'm driving here today. Well, as I flick into sport mode here on a bit of a slightly twisty, turny road, I've got full electric performance, and it's immediate that you notice it, because when you take your foot off, you get that great regeneration. When you put your foot down, you get a nice little punch. Not a Tesla punch, don't worry. It's not even a comparison in any way, shape or form. This has a 0 to 100 time of about 7.3 seconds. You're talking about a 137 kilowatt performance. You're talking about a 32 kilowatt hour battery. It's not a lot. This is a small electric car in every way. You're going to get 233 kilometers of range. Probably won't make it to Bathurst. I've already got that range anxiety. You know why. But this is a city car. This is a city car made for the people that are going to the shops. They're coming back from the shops. They're doing their chores. They're going places. They're driving to work and back. The average driver does 30 to 40 Ks a day. Now, if you do a day's driving and you plug it in at night, it doesn't even need the whole night to charge, which is why there's settings there to say, you know what, I want to be ready to depart at 7 a.m. in the morning, and it will charge perfectly in time, ready for that 7 a.m. Now, there are several drive modes. I should be clear. There is sport mode, punchy, and then there is a mid mode, which basically just means you're a boring human. Then there's green mode, which means, look, you're trying to push the range out a bit. And then there's green plus mode, which means you're freaking out about where you're going to go, or it's a comfortable day, you don't need the aircon, and you're cool with being ultra conservative about your usage of the battery power. So basically, let me just show you this here. So we'll talk you through it. If I'm in green plus mode, it thinks there's 134 Ks range still to go. Flick it up to green mode, that drops back to 129. Flick it up to mid mode, 126. Flick it into sport mode, still 126. So I'm staying in sport mode, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm confident I've got enough in the tank to get me back to where I need to be this afternoon. And that's the thing. Plug this thing in at night. It's going to charge in a normal power point overnight, even from empty. It's going to charge. So I don't, unless you're only at home for 3 or 4 hours a night. Most people are home for like 10 hours every night. You plug it in when you get home. You have dinner. You watch some TV. You go to bed. You get up in the morning. You have a shower. You get dressed. You have your brekkie, and then you get in the car. In all that time, it's charged. Trust me. There's no charging woes with a standard power point. If you need more, like at the EFTM office, you just put in a faster charger. Doesn't have to be super fast, just a little bit faster, and it'll trickle in all that faster for the juice. It's every bit an electric car. Motorcycles can go faster if they choose to on this open road, but it's a Mini. It's got all the toggle switches of a Mini. It's got the big round dials of the Mini. It's got this full electric dash in front of me, which has all my electric display information, battery level, the predicted range left, which is, as always, up and down. And really, these are the kind of things you learn as you own a car like this. How far can I go? How much range do I burn by going on the freeway? How much range do I burn by choosing to drive on a twisty, turny road in sport mode? Because it feels good. I mean, this thing sticks to the road, hammering around this corner at the exact speed limit. Feels great. In fact, I've got a massive smile on my face. I love it. It's a really good feeling. This seat is just snug and so comfy. The launch edition of this car, $60,000. Now, $60,000 for an electric car is pretty much the bottom end of the range. There's slightly cheaper ones, but this is essentially that low end of the range. It's a very affordable in terms of electric cars. But the big caveat, and this is the critical assessment I make of every electric car and how far we've come in terms of electric cars, is how that compares to the ICE model, the internal combustion engine. So a Mini Cooper S with a petrol engine, it's about 45, 46 grand. So you're paying a $14,000, $15,000 premium for this electric power, electric battery, electric performance, and the cost savings of owning an electric car. If you've got solar panels, this thing's free to run. If you're charging it off the grid, you're spending a couple of cents a day. It's certainly a couple of dollars a day, probably. It's certainly cheaper. I estimate broadly 30% cheaper to run an electric car without all the renewable in your life. 30 to 40% of the cost of a petrol car. So if your budget in a year for petrol is 10 grand, then you're gonna spend 3 or 4 on electricity. But I think a person owning a Mini and driving this car is not driving that far to even have those cost savings. And that's really my only criticism is I don't think the value equation, the return on investment is directly there if you were to do a business model. But my wife has always wanted a Mini. We couldn't buy one early because we just can't fit kids in the car. But I showed her this morning and she said, is it electric? I said, yes. And that was a tick. So perhaps our next small car is the Mini electric. It's a 2-seat sports car because I don't know who the hell you're getting back there. There ain't no room. You could put some baby capsule back there maybe, but my kids' feet would be squashed by my driving position. So it's really a 2-seater and a touch at best. But again, that's not what this car is for. This car is for throwing the shopping in, for running up the road, it's for driving to work and having a comfortable Apple CarPlay, full sat nav, great digital dash, head-up display. It's got everything. It's got everything you need. And I think that makes it a really cool proposition in the electric market. It's probably, let's be honest, the snazziest looking electric car available today. Full details and more information at EFTM.com.